The fact that you're watching this video probably means you've already figured out you want an RV. The question is what kind? It'll make your job a lot easier if you think of RVs as tools. You wouldn't use a cane pole to go deep sea fishing, nor would you use a push mower to mow a field, and you wouldn't buy a John Deere tractor to mow a small yard. Now that we've established that we're actually buying a big piece of camping gear, now let's look at the different types that are available. There's small ultralight travel trailers, there's mid-sized travel trailers, there's different construction. You have aluminum sided, fiberglass sided, you have fifth wheels, toy haulers, Class B motorhomes, Class B plus, Class C, and Class A. And we'll get into all of these as well in another video. Right now, we're just getting into how to select the right kind. Now let's try and zero in on what type of an RV is going to work best for you. First and foremost, budget. How much are you going to spend in cash? Or if you're financing, how much a month are you wanting to spend? Since trailers can be usually financed for 10, 12, or 15 year, and motorhomes and big fifth wheels for 20 years, you can see where the payments will vary depending on what term you get. Next, you're going to want to shop for insurance. Full coverage with full replacement value is preferred. You'll find that trailers are going to be in the ballpark of $100 a month or less for insurance, and motorhomes can be $200-300 a month or more for full coverage. Next, you'll need to figure out how many people will be sleeping in your RV most of the time and how many sleeping areas you will need for those people. A big piece of advice is buy an RV for yourself, not for the one-off times that a few extra people may go. I have seen many times where grandparents bought a bunkhouse, travel trailer, or motorhome for the grandkids, and only to come find out grandkids really didn't want to go and the bunk beds became a waste of space. Next, you're going to want to think about where you're going to store it. Do you have any constraints of the length, width, or maybe the height with a branch or something like that? Next, do you already have a vehicle that can tow a travel trailer or a fifth wheel? Are you going to be sticking to open roads? Are you going to be putting it in a park and leaving it sit and not moving it? Are you going to be going to state parks or larger RV resorts or cruising the back roads where height might be an issue? Truthfully, the shorter your rig is, the easier it will be to find campgrounds, but that is not to say that you should buy a small RV when you really should be buying a larger RV. Again, buy the floor plan. Does it have enough sleeping areas? Does it have enough storage to be comfortable so that you'll want to use it? Next, you should figure out how much the RV is going to sit, because if you're not going to be using it for more than just a few weekends and maybe 2-3 weeks vacation a year, travel trailer is going to be a lot less expensive on maintenance. Motorhomes have engines, transmissions, drive belts, gaskets, and seals and hoses, and none of that stuff likes to sit. You're going to have all kinds of lot rot if you let a motorhome sit. Next, let's figure out what kind of climates are you going to be using it in. Are you just going to be a warm weather camper like most people, spring, summer, and fall? Or are you going to also use it in the winter time where you'll be in extreme cold climate? Next, need to think about whether or not you like to explore when you get where you're going. Meaning, it's sometimes easier to disconnect a trailer, and other people find with the motorhome you can pull another car behind. But keep in mind, now you're maintaining two drive lines, a motorhome and your car. Hopefully you've narrowed down what you're looking for now, and this has helped do that. But from here you're going to narrow down to a brand and features and construction and price, and that's fine. Before I would ever suggest someone buy an RV, even if they think they've got it nailed down, strongly suggest, especially for first timers, go to like RV Share. I'll leave links in the description and also on my blog website, wolfrvblog.com. RV Share has all different size, types, brands, and you have a much bigger selection. And the whole trick to this, try to rent RV. If you can't find the brand that you're looking for in the floor plan, that's okay. But try to find a floor plan and size as close to what you're trying to buy as possible. Rent it, take it out for a weekend at the minimum. A week vacation to 2-week vacation would be best because that'll give you enough time to interact with that floor plan and decide whether or not it's perfect, or whether you need to go bigger, or whether you need to go smaller, or maybe a different direction entirely. So it'll allow you to do this all without making that commitment to buy up front that could potentially cost you thousands and thousands of dollars if you bought the wrong one first. So please rent one first, then go and get your unit. I'd also like to caution first-timers about a huge pitfall. It may seem on the surface like a very intelligent idea to ask a neighbor or a friend that has been an RVer for a long time advice on buying an RV. However, if you ask a fifth wheel owner what kind of an RV you should get, they're going to say a fifth wheel. If you ask a travel trailer guy what you should get, he'll say a travel trailer. If you ask a toy hauler guy, they'll say a toy hauler. The diesel pusher guys, they'll all say, oh yeah, get a diesel pusher. That's the only way to go. Well, you know, that's the problem, is that all of these guys have found what works for them. But no two people use an RV the exact same way or go to the same places, because all of these are factors as to what you should buy. You know, the guys that have the fifth wheels and the diesel pushers, if you're the type that wants to go to state parks, and the state parks have pretty tight little campsites, low branches, those guys don't go to those. They can't. They will tear up their units. You know, state parks are for smaller travel trailers that are lower to the ground. Doesn't necessarily have to be a short travel trailer. It just needs to be from the ground to the top of the AC needs to be low so that you can get in around under the trees. And that's one of the main reasons why I have a travel trailer. I've owned 2 of them, and I really like the travel trailers because I do not have to worry about branches as much, because that's where I like to go. I like the back roads. I like the state parks and the national parks. And, you know, granted, there are a few of those you can get into with a fifth wheel or a big Class A, but not many. That's why I like the travel trailer. So go through the questions that are in this video and answer them honestly yourself. Make everything about you, not other people's opinions. And the more you do that, the more you will be buying the right unit for you. Can't stress that enough. I personally have owned about 4 RVs in my lifetime so far. Class A, travel trailers, hard wall pop-ups. I've loved them all. Different phases of my life, different reasons for buying the different models, but at this stage in my life, almost at retirement, I decided to go with a travel trailer, and I have a 32-foot Imagine. Actually, it's the overall length is closer to 37 feet. I tow it with a F350 It is a four-wheel drive, single rear wheel, long bed, and I have the 7.3 gas Godzilla V8. I had a diesel prior, and to be honest with you, the technology in these gas engines today has gotten to the point where even with this truck here, I get about 16 miles to the gallon running empty on the highway. I get about 8 miles to the gallon towing the travel trailer. It's got a 10-speed automatic. It gets phenomenal fuel economy for the size truck that it is. And industry-wide, 8 miles to the gallon is about what you can expect as a ballpark. Whether you have a truck and a fifth wheel or a truck and a trailer or a Class A motorhome, that's about the ballpark. If you get into the small van motorhomes, you can get up in the high teens, maybe the low 20s as far as fuel economy with the ProMaster Dodge van chassis or the Mercedes Sprinter. When you start putting the heavier back ends on them for like a Class C, now you're dragging that down. You can expect in the 12 to 13 miles to the gallon range would be normal for those. If you tow a car behind at that point, it's going to pull it down a little more. The big diesel pushers, they're going to be in the ballpark of 8 miles to the gallon as well. They don't really change a whole lot when you put a car behind those because they're just so big and they have so much torque. Now, I will say when you get up above the 450 horse diesel pushers, when you start getting into the 550, 600, 650 horse diesels, your mileage can go all the way down to 4.5 miles to the gallon. But if you can afford one of those $1 million coaches, then the fuel shouldn't be a problem. But that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to my channel, and have tons of other videos. You can go to our blog website, which is wolfrvblog.com, and there you'll find all kinds of information. There's downloadable checklists for leaving your campsite, arriving at your campsite, getting ready to go on a trip, all kinds of fun stuff. And we're always updating the website and adding new videos. So let me know how you like it, and if you do have any suggestions or there's something you have a question about, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.